Now, you would think after all this time on Zoom that we would know to unmute ourselves. Welcome to Gaia's Temple, everyone. I am unmuted now, I can tell you that. I want to start by acknowledging first that we are on the unceded ancestral lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people and their tribe, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. You know, I also want to acknowledge the difficult times in which we are living, which I know is an understatement, because often what happens is a coping mechanism in hard times like these is that we tend to downplay or dismiss how difficult it is. When war is raging in our world and it's in our minds and it's in our hearts, it's just easier to say, well, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, as a way of coping. But even when we dismiss and downplay the challenges, they still exist and we are still affected by them. And they wear on us and they take their toll. Perhaps you're not sleeping so well, or no matter how much you sleep, you don't feel rested, or perhaps you are grumpy or cranky, or perhaps you're very quick to cry, or your tolerance is very low. Well, if so, I can tell you that you have come to the right place, because here we create safe and sacred space in which to tend to our hearts and our minds and our souls in loving community. So I am Reverend Judith Laxer, and I am so honored that you have chosen to spend an hour or so of your time here with me and this loving community in Gaia's Temple. So first, I'm going to introduce our board president, Reverend Karina Frenzel, who has some announcements about some amazing things we have in store for you. Take it away, Karina.
Thank you, Reverend Judith, and good afternoon, everyone. Here is a list of announcements for our upcoming events. All the info can be found on our website at www.gaiastemple.org. First, join us tonight at 7 p.m. over Zoom for the second installment of Tippy and Stan, the hilarious and tender story written and beautifully told by Canadian author and playwright Dorothy Dietrich. This is a 4-installment series held every Sunday through the month of April. The good news is that each installment works as a standalone event, so even if you missed the last week, you can still enjoy it whenever you jump in. And we hope you do. Tickets can be found on our events page. If you'd like to keep the Sabbath holy with us, the next one coming up is Beltane, celebrating the height of summer. We are still seeking ritualists to help us co-create the ritual, and if interested, reach out to me or Reverend Judith by email, and we have a planning meeting set on Tuesday, April 19th at 7 p.m. The Sabbath itself will be held right on Beltane, Sunday, May 1st at 7 p.m. over Zoom. We hope you can join us for the magic. Tickets can be found on our events page. This year, we're holding another flower sale for Mother's Day. Give someone in your life with a unique handcrafted bouquet of fresh flowers made by one of our congregants, Stina Brown. There are different sizes available for purchase, and Stina uses locally sourced plant materials and repurposed containers as much as possible. Place your orders now by emailing Reverend Judith or by submitting your request through the donate button on our website. Pickup will be May 7th between 2 to 4 p.m. in the parking lot of Reverend Judith's office. Details and pricing can be found on our homepage. We are hosting a movie night to show Mother Wove the Morning by Carol Lynn Pearson on May 7th at 7 p.m. over Zoom. This is a special viewing of her one-woman play in which Carol Lynn Pearson performs 16 women throughout history in search of the female face of God. After the movie, Carol Lynn will join us for a question and answer period. Tickets again can be purchased on our events page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook if you haven't already. And please share us with your friends. And don't forget, we have our virtual fellowship right after the service where we could chat and connect. Thank you, and now I'll hand it over to our board member and resident naturopath, Tema Gotchberg, for the COVID update. Take it away, Tema.
All right. So this differs a bit from the update that I had given the board just a few days ago as the Friday numbers were released for Washington and King County. The 7-day case rate still is in the realm of 78 per 100,000. Again, we were hoping for it to get down in the realm of 10 to 15 per 100,000 before we say, aha, that's some low numbers and we like how they look. We are well and truly out of the Omicron surge. However, BA2, a subvariant of Omicron, has taken over as the most prominent variant in the community. And the numbers are starting to tick up again, very slightly. So keep your eyes out. This is not unexpected given that mask requirements have recently been lifted. So I would still strongly recommend that folks keep their masks on, that they avoid the indoor interactions without masking or with poor ventilation as much as possible. This pattern does seem to be reflected across the United States. Many areas are dropping precautions, and although the surge from Omicron has definitely passed, they are starting to see a small uptick in a couple of states now from BA2. On the good news front, 66% of the US population is fully vaccinated, and that number jumps to 82% if you take into account folks who've had just one vaccine dose. In broader scheme of the world, the numbers have been trending down for about a month now, but they are still higher than they were this time last year. So all told, what I had said to the board on Tuesday night was, one more month of these numbers trending down, and I would say, ooh, I have some hope we can actually talk about in-person events at some point soon. And then a few days later, the numbers started trending up again. So we're at wait and see. And that's my COVID update for this month.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to ask Mari to put the lyrics to the So Love chant up so we can all sing it together. Many of you who've been here before know this song already, this beautiful chant that Oriel Lighton wrote for us specifically as we delve into our work called Revolutionary Love this year, Valerie Kaur's method on body of work called Revolutionary Love. And so if you don't know this song, you'll probably catch on sooner than later. We'll sing it twice through. I'll ask everyone else to make sure that they are muted. And here we go. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are part of the solution, so we love, so I love, and we stir the revolution, so we love, so I love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We see mothers, we see brothers, so we love, so I love. And I tend myself and others, so we love, so I love. They are takers and heartbreakers, still we love, so I love. Dare to wonder what lies under, still we love, so I love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are part of the solution, so we love, so I love, and we stir the revolution, so we love, so I love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We see mothers, we see brothers, so we love, so I love, and I tend myself and others, so we love, so I love. They are takers and heartbreakers, still we love, so I love. Dare to wonder what lies under, so we love, so I love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. We are sowing, we are growing, we bestow love. Boy, I love that chant as more and more as time goes on. All right, we will continue now by creating our safe and sacred space. So if you would, wherever you are, let's take a nice deep breath together. Gently close your eyes, go within. Oh, keep breathing nice and deeply, big, deep cleansing breaths. And as you breathe, take a moment to call all the parts of you home. So any part of you projected into the future, or stuck in your past, or distracted by anything in this very distracting world. And gently ask all of you to come home so that you can be fully present right here and right now. And on your next exhale, begin to ground yourself to Mother Earth by imagining that you are growing a strong taproot from the base of your spine that reaches down toward the earth, down through the chair or the seat where you are seated, down through the floor of whatever building you are inside, or if you're outside, straight down into the earth, our beautiful Mother Earth, and feel how she opens to receive your energy as you send your taproot down deep and deeper and even more deeply. And follow it in your mind's eye and see as your root goes down past the stones and the bones and the critters deep into the fertile, moist soil of our beautiful great Mother Earth. Feel how she holds you and connects to you as you deepen your connection to her. And when your root gets as deep as it needs to be, for you to feel very solidly held and grounded. Then send out smaller little branches reaching out, taking hold. Perhaps they connect to the mycelium everywhere under the earth. And feel how deeply connected you are to nature, to the earth, and to all of life. Breathe life into all of those roots, the smaller little rootlets, and the main taproot. And now imagine that all of your roots become porous and start to drink the energy of Mother Earth up into them and keep drawing that energy up your roots. So we sent them down and now we're drawing that energy up through them. And know that as you drink the energy of Mother Earth in, that you are drinking in her sustenance and her nourishment, her strength and beauty, and most importantly, her unconditional love. That's what we're drawing in. And let that energy transfer over into your spine. Keep drawing it up, up, up until she makes her way into your heart. And when the energy of Mother Earth arrives there, let her rest there for a moment. And once more, breathe deeply, make more room for the earth in your heart. Feels so good to hold her there. And leaving her there in your heart now, look to the heavens in your mind's eye and find the moon. She is waxing toward fullness, and today she is in Leo. Fiery, brilliant, dramatic, glorious, fiery Leo. And imagine now that the moon pours her silvery yet hot light down onto you and into you. draw down the moon. And imagine her entering into your crown and draw her down through your center and into your heart. And when she arrives there, once more breathe deeply. And now the energy of the earth and the moon are held there in your heart. So once more look to the heavens and find the sun, and he is in Aries. We will be working with a lot of fire today. That beautiful, fiery, radiant, warm, childlike wonder of Aries, and draw that beautiful Aryan light down from the heavens. Feel that warm sun pouring down into you, and draw that golden light all the way down to your heart. And once more, breathe deeply. Good. Now we are holding the earth, the sun, and the moon in our vessels, in the body and the temple of the vessels that we are. And in a moment, I'm going to ask us to take a nice deep breath. And this time when we exhale, let's use our exhalation to push these three cosmic energies straight forward from our heart, outside of our body. And first, imagine it encircling you completely. So first, you're going to cast a circle around yourself. And so here we go. Deep breath. Out it goes. You can feel it all around you. Now we're going to take another deep breath in the moment. And this time when we exhale, imagine that you can push this energy out as far as it needs to go to encompass all of us here at this Zoom meeting, all of us watching on YouTube, and all of everybody listening to the podcast. And even later, if people come later and listen to the podcast and watch YouTube, even then they will feel how they are embraced and welcomed in this circle. Let's imagine that energy rippling out to encompass all of us. So here we go. Deep breath. And out it goes. In this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds, but can heal and transform. And so we say, our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. All right, I'd like to introduce our ritualist today, Patrick Corrigan. He's going to lead us in singing in the elements, and also he will lead the reading of the invocation. Thanks, Patrick.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, everybody. All right. Spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, carry me home to my heart. Spirits of the air in the east, spirits of the air, carry me. Spirits of the air, carry me home. Spirits of the air, carry me home to my heart. Spirits of the fire in the south, spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. Spirits of the water in the west, spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. Spirits of the center that connects us all. Spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart. All right. And now the invocation. Blessed Kalima, Goddess of creation through destruction, be with us. Fierce goddess of compassionate detachment, be with us. You gift us with courage and precision, be with us. We are in awe of your holy power and your powerful presence, be with us. Today we seek to discover the source of our rage, be with us. To channel it safely, be with us. To use it as fuel to reorder the world, be with us. We gather on this fine day to be in your presence, be with us. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Patrick. Well, my friends, onward we go, continuing it to learn the principles of Valerie Kaur's Revolutionary Love as part of the Revolutionary Love Project. And before we go any further, activating Revolutionary Love, I'm going to ask Mari to put that compass back up so we can kind of orient to see where we are. So here comes the slide of the Revolutionary Love compass. There it is. That's the compass of Revolutionary Love. And we started in the upper left-hand corner there. We can see in the outer ring that there are 3 sections to this compass: loving others, loving opponents, and loving ourselves. We started with loving others by seeing no stranger. And we started in the center with the principle of wonder. Then we moved on to grieve. Last month, we moved on to fight, and we have completed the first third of the compass. Now we're moving on to loving our opponents. Challenging. And that we do by tending the wound. And we begin toward the center with rage. So that's where we are right now with rage. Okay, Mari, thank you for that. So we completed that first third by loving others because we have hopefully embraced and integrated that we are learning to see no stranger, that everyone and anyone that we see is no longer a stranger, even if we find that we are very different from them or they are very different from us. Now we learn to love our opponents by learning to tend the wound. And the first principle, as I said, is rage. Now, I want to say, which is something that Valerie says over and over in her work, this is hard work. This is not easy, simple stuff. It is deep and difficult and challenging. It's a new way of seeing the world, a new way of being in the world. It's not just an intellectual concept. We are just being introduced to it for the first time. And it's important for us to remember also that this is the work of a lifetime. This isn't something we come to understand and, oh, we're, got it, and we're experts at it right away. It can be the work of a lifetime. And part of what we remember about that is that if we spend our lifetime learning to enact the principles of revolutionary love, we are setting up a different future for those who come after. And in a world that is so conditioned toward immediate gratification, we want to see the results of our work right away. The concept that what we are doing, the fruits of which we might not see in this lifetime, might seem odd, but it's beautiful. And it's one that we need to remember so that when we don't see the immediate results, we don't lose heart and we don't lose momentum. So all that matters is that we keep trying to employ these principles, not that we get them perfectly, but that we keep trying. And sometimes by not getting them perfectly, it reminds us of our humanity, which is also a huge part of revolutionary love. So it's all good. So I will admit that last month's fight and this month's rage were very challenging for me. They have surely challenged me. I mean, how to talk about fight and rage in a temple whose primary value is love, it's it seems counter to our mission. And yet, when you break these principles down and see how to apply them, they show us new ways to love, give us more to include and integrate in becoming the most loving beings that we can be. So, of course, I went to look up the word rage. Of course, I did. And in addition to all the wonderful synonyms like fury, anger, wrath, temper, ire, indignation, and verbs like fume, storm, seethe, one of my favorites, thunder, a new word for me, fulminate. I had never heard fulminate, explode, and erupt. I learned that the word rage originates, as so many of our words do, in the Latin from the word rabies, which is a viral disease that is kind of a madness. And that's kind of what happens, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing if we're annoyed, it's something we get a little ticked off about, or we're angry. But if we are enraged, it's overwhelming, and it takes over like a madness. It's like, that's when we say we saw red, or in court, people will say it was temporary insanity, like something else comes in and it takes over. That's how strong rage can be. Like rabies can make you mad. So, how does love enter into rage? Valerie tells us that what makes this kind of love revolutionary is the fundamental orientation of which is to look upon another, even those who you feel are causing your rage, and think, you are a part of me I do not yet know. Now, this is part of what's so challenging, because we are so quick to judge others' behavior and thinking, and we say, well, I would never. What's wrong with them that they would when I would never? But when we keep employing the principle, like, you are a part of me I don't yet know, you are a part of me I don't yet know, it brings us all back onto pretty much the same human level. And it's remembering our humanity that is revolutionary. So what does it mean to look upon the face of someone who has hurt you or disagreed with you, or whose beliefs have caused harm to you or those that you love? It means that we must tend the wound. And there's two ways that we tend the wound. We tend the wound within ourselves, and we also recognize the wound that is in whoever we perceive is the perpetrator of the harm. We cannot learn to love our opponents, however, until we first tend the wound in ourselves. And so we might think that that's, pretty selfish to take care of ourselves when the world is, a mess, and there's so many other things that need to be done. But this comes under the heading of, putting on the oxygen mask on yourself before someone else, because we have to be okay to do the work, to be of service. We can't keep ignoring our own tenderness and our own woundedness and expect to be at our best. So we have been conditioned, and I will say especially women have been conditioned, to suppress our rage, to deny our rage, that rage is ugly and it is inappropriate, that it is unacceptable and it is gauche and it is just horrible, and we should not have it, we should not feel it, and one way or another, we should not show it or express it. We must suppress it. So what Valerie reminds us is that love is sweet labor, and meaning it's not just one rush of emotion or a rush of only one emotion, that love is like an umbrella. It encompasses all of the emotions. It includes all of the emotions. And so revolutionary love teaches us that joy is the gift of love, and grief is the price of love, and anger is the force that protects that which we love. I'm saying these things again month after month, but I'm telling you, it takes a while for that to really get in. That love is not just, pretty, happy, sexy, delightful. Love is many things, including sweet labor. And the sweet labor comes in with emotions that are less than comfortable and pretty and wonderful, and ones that we want to feel all the time. That's what makes it revolutionary. So here's the bit of science about love and what it does to the body, which is When we feel love, the body releases the hormone oxytocin, which is the love hormone. And the more love that we feel, the more we bond with a beloved, the more oxytocin is released into our system and the more bliss that we feel. But this is an interesting thing. When a mother's child is in danger, that oxytocin increases her aggression. So there is a reason for rage that comes out of a blissful love. And that is the part that wants to protect what we love. So to rage is to express our body's most fiery energy, right? There is a heat. That's why we call it hot rage and hot anger. It's hot. It's hot and it can hurt too. It can burn. So it's not to suppress our rage, which can lead to illness and depression, and it's just not healthy at all, or to let it explode, which is dangerous and often happens in violent ways. Both of those are equally unhealthy. To suppress our rage or to let it explode without care and caution are not good. Either one of those are not good. It has been reported that suppressed rage causes higher rates of autoimmune diseases, and it also amplifies the perception of physical pain. When we have suppressed our rage, we feel our pain more acutely, and it leads to disease. It just does. So what do? This is what we do. We process it in safe containers. Safe containers. And I have several examples of what a safe container can be for our rage. The first one is weeping. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been so angry and so frustrated about what you are enraged about that you start to cry. I have had that experience. I'm sure a lot of you have. Allowing yourself to weep your rage is a safe container. It's an expression. It's a way to get it out of you in a healthy way. Let yourself cry. It's not a bad thing. Weeping, writing, the poison pen letter, just write out all your wrath. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about what it sounds like. It's not going to hurt the page. It's not going to hurt the pen. It's not going to hurt the paper. It's just going to get it out of you. Dancing or any sort of physical hard labor is also great to do. Like people go, they box, go to the gym and really work out a sweat, move rocks and boulders in your garden, like do the heavy work. And that is a way to use the energy of rage in a safe container that doesn't harm. Another one is meditation or guided visualization. Go to the place of where you are angry, allow yourself to feel it, take some actions in that meditation that you don't actually take in the real world to express what it is that you are feeling. Trauma therapy or any sort of therapy is also good to vent your rage and your anger. And also, of course, my particular favorite, which is ritual. Ritualize it. Create safe and sacred space. Maybe you've written that poison pen letter and then you burn it in sacred space. And I think there's something, well, it's true about all ritual, about bringing even mundane tasks that we call ritual gestures when they're done in sacred space. When you bring the sacred to that, it's transformative. It's why our rituals are just so amazing. We're really doing simple things, really. We're singing or we're lighting candles or, not very complicated gestures at all. And yet they're transformative because they are done in sacred space. I think it's great if you can get together with a beloved or two or three, a group of friends who you trust, create the sacred space together, and do a rage ritual where you find one safe way, maybe one or all of these that I've already mentioned, but you do that together in a ritual. And it has a beginning and it has an end. And when it's over, you release the sacred space, and that has been the safe container. So important. We think because we know or understand something up here that it's done. And it isn't. That's only one part of us. That's our mind, our heart, our emotion, our deep psyche, and our soul and spirit. need to be engaged in that also. And ritual is the way to engage every single part of ourselves in an act of transformation. So process in safe containers. Valerie says that once that rage is outside of our bodies, that we're not just carrying it inside, seething or fulminating, we come into a better relationship with it. We come into a relationship with it that is healthier because it's not ruling us from the inside. We can ask then, when we're in relationship with our rage, what does it carry? What information does it carry for us? And then we can ask ourselves, how do I want to harness that energy, that information? And then what do I want to do with it? What action do I want to take with it? So I have a beautiful example for you here. We're going to watch a video in a moment. Many of us know Oriel Lighton, who actually wrote the So Love chant for us. And she's a beautiful singer and songwriter. She's got a beautiful CD as well. And she was inspired to use her artistry to create the following video just before the last presidential election. So some of the content, I mean, it's not going to seem unfamiliar at all. It can probably still be applied in many places in this world and all over. But this was something that she felt she needed to do just before the last election. This was her creative, and this is where she put her creativity and the healthy result of her rage. Okay, so Mari, go ahead and show us that video now. This is Oriel Lighton. We are coming soon.
Taken the home of the brave. You have forsaken the promise you gave. We cannot wake from this nightmare you made. We know the money, the master, and you are the slave. But can you, how can you live with yourself? Can you, how can you live with yourself? We are not blind to the duty you shirk. We are not fooled by your self-serving perks. We will go underground with our work till we bubble up, tearing your trouble up. Coming soon, we are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. Coming soon, we are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. Coming soon, we are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. Coming soon, we are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. But lucky you, we got some values that we don't ignore. But make no mistake, all your corruption is starting a war. Can you, how can you live with yourself? 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 May divinity reign within heart and in brain and help us march forth in love. May divinity reign within heart and in brain and help us march forth in love. May divinity reign within heart and in brain and help us march forth in love. Let now be the when we wake up again in freedom and justice and love. Let now be the when we wake up again in freedom and justice and love. Let now be the when we wake up again in freedom and justice and love. But freedom and love isn't turning away to keep inner peace at all costs. Freedom and love isn't turning away and keeping the peace at all costs. Freedom and love isn't turning away and keeping the peace at all costs. At all costs. At all costs. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to relieve you. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to relieve you. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to relieve you. Coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon to remove you. When we wake up again, freedom, justice, and love. Justice and love. Justice and love. We are coming soon.
Powerful stuff, Oriole Lighten. Thank you so much for that song and that video, and such a beautiful example. I mean, she's an artist. Not all of us can create a magnificent song and video like that. But just as an example of what to do with the strong emotion of rage, that is quite clear and a thing of beauty and influential as well. She talks about may divinity reign. And so one of the things that Valerie mentions is divine rage, which is the difference between when we are just so upset and angry about something that we feel it gives us license to act out in any way we want, and the divine rage that illuminates and elucidates for us what needs to happen. So I want to talk a little bit about the fierce Indian goddess Kalima, who is the goddess of creation and destruction. If you've ever seen a depiction of her, you know she wears tiger, she's got blue skin and she wears a tiger outfit, and she's got a necklace of skulls, and her mouth is agape, and her tongue lolls out, and she drinks the blood of life. She is a fierce goddess, and she is not to be messed with. Her rage is necessary, but it's not vengeful. It's the rage that reorders the world, because what it does is it deconstructs what has been constructed. And that deconstruction has to happen first in order for something new to be constructed. When Valerie talks about the injustices in the world, which is why we are engaging in revolutionary love to reorder the world, we can look at what is unjust here and recognize that it's part of a system that was constructed. And if it was constructed, it can be deconstructed, right? This is where Kali's sort of rage comes in, because she is the creator and she creates through the destruction that is necessary first. Reordering the world is part of what must happen to dismantle those systems. And those systems can be found in all of the isms and all of the phobias and all of the misogyny and all of the places where we find injustice. Valerie says, this is a direct quote from her, divine rage is precise and it is powerful. It's like the focused fury projected from the forehead of a goddess. And the thing about divine rage is that it affirms the humanity of even those who we are fighting. It urges us to reimagine a world, a context where they too are freed from the systems that radicalize them, authorize them, sanction them to commit harm. And then she cites this example. I don't know if you've ever seen the Maori haka dances that erupted in New Zealand. And they were in response to the white supremacist shootings, mass shootings in the mosques there in New Zealand. And the students danced and they grunted and they expressed their rage with some serious facial work and body choreography, not with thoughts and prayers, but with the kind of rage that demands action. So the expression of divine rage is what makes people uncomfortable, right? We want civility. Can't we just be civil? Can't we just talk about these things? Why do we have to get angry? But too often, Valerie says, civility calls for us to silence the pain, which is the impetus behind making changes. Civility sometimes can just tamp it all down. This is why quiet, polite requests have not yet reordered the world. We need to enact our divine rage, not violently, but fiercely. That is a thin line, but it is a very clear distinction. And our job in engaging the principle of rage is to train our ears to hear the rage behind the vengeful or violent act. Now, doing this does not condone or support vengeance or violence, but it does help us understand why it occurs. We don't have to agree with it, but if we understand why that happens, right? Which is something I've been saying in Gaia's temple for years and years. Wounded people wound people. It's as simple as that. If we can understand what's the wound that they are acting out of, it doesn't make it okay that they're wounding people, but we understand it. And that gives us just a little bit of detachment, and there's a little grace in there. And it helps us to remember our humanity as well as their humanity. It helps us to understand why it happens. It helps us to stop thinking of others who cause harm as monsters and to see them as human again. And that does several things. Of course, seeing everyone as human is a beautiful thing, right? To recognize the humanity in all of us. But it also takes the power a little bit out of it, because you see, it's just a human. It's not a god. It's not a monster. It's not something bigger and stronger than us. It's human also. It's wounded, and we must tend that wound. It humbles us also, because it helps us remember, you are a part of me I do not yet know, which means somewhere along the way, I have also been the one who has caused harm. So if you would, take a moment now, close your eyes and go within. Take a nice deep breath. It's a lot of heavy, rageful conversation here today. I know it is, but hang in there, because it's good work and it's worth the effort. Reestablish your connection to your grounding core that we set down at the beginning of the service. And if you came in after we do that, go ahead and ground yourself now so that you can feel the strong, unconditional love of the Mother holding you as we move forward. Now, I'd like you to bring your attention to your third eye in the center of your forehead. Imagine it like an actual eye, just like your other two. Go ahead and open it up and look out through it into your imagination and find yourself sitting in a live theater before the show begins. And so in a moment, the curtain is going to open. And on the stage, you will see an actor playing you in a scene from your own life. A scene in which you were perhaps the angriest you have ever been. A time when you were consumed with rage, strong, hot, fiery rage. And the other actors will be playing whoever else was there at the time, so it'll seem very familiar to you. But now you have the vantage point of watching this scene from the house, which gives you much detachment, and watching from this moment in time instead of when it first and actually occurred will also give you some detachment, because it is well after when the incident happened that enraged you. So now the house lights begin to dim, And they go off and the curtain starts to part and you can hear the swoosh of the curtains as it draws aside. So take a moment now and watch the action as you remember the injustice that caused your rage, because rage doesn't happen for no reason. It's a response to injustice. And watch it. Watch the injustice that caused your rage and all the dynamics that went into creating this scene. And notice too that you can watch it without emotional injury or emotional re-injury, but you can watch it with curiosity and wonder and a desire simply to learn more about yourself and about the reasons behind the scene. So take a moment now and just watch this scene from the house. Good, and now it's coming to the absolute worst part of it, perhaps the worst of how you felt or the worst of how you acted. Just stay with it and observe. Good, now continue to watch this scene, but you notice as you're watching it play out in front of you that you are feeling compassion for yourself in this scenario. I mean, even if you think, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that, even with that, even with any regret that might be in there, you also feel compassion for yourself because you know that you were doing the best you could in that moment. Because had you been able to do any better, you would have. So from this distance and time and space, ask yourself, what information does this rage give you? What information does it carry? And also, what would or should you do now or next with this rage of yours? And if you're no longer feeling the rage that you felt in the scene on the stage, what assuaged it? Was it some form of reconciliation? Was it simply time? Just gather all the information you possibly can about your rage here in this moment. Take another deep breath and gently bring yourself back here. You might want to go back and revisit that, spend a little more time with it, maybe write your thoughts and feelings that came up into a journal, a way to either mark and kind of keep what the information is that you got from this. I lead these meditations here in Gaia's temple for us to become more intimate with ourselves, for us to have the opportunity to reflect and to find our own truths, even when they are uncomfortable truths, even when they are less than perfect. Of course they are. Of course they are less than perfect because we are perfect humans. We are perfect in all of our flaws. And we might think that getting the information about this scene that was so difficult and in which you were enraged is just a way for us to justify our rage. And perhaps that's what you need, is to understand and justify why you became that enraged. What might it be like? What might it have been for us if we'd had a safe container for our rage at that time, or someone who really heard us and sympathized with us, who took actions on our behalf or was an advocate, or even someone who just witnessed without judgment as we went through the worst of it? How different that whole scene might have been if we'd had that safe container, a loving presence, a witness. It's so important to process our rage in these safe containers first. It takes the overwhelming charge out of it so that then we can use the fuel that this rage is and put it into right action, not burn the whole world up with it. Right? Because when our rage is directed correctly, then it acts to cool it all down. When we can take the energy behind our rage and put it into right action, it cools and diffuses it all down. So in a moment, our own Tema Gotchberg is going to sing a song for us, and I just want to acknowledge ahead of time that that we want to thank the artists who wrote the song, the artists of the band Over the Rhine, because they granted Tema permission to use their soundtrack to sing this song for us in the service today. So go ahead, Tema, take it away.
One second while I get the volume set here. This is why I need you to be still and quiet, okay? It's not the spark that caused the fire. It was the air you breathed back. What you think you'll solve with violence will only spread like air. It all comes round again. Is John the only dreamer? Sleep with one ear close to the ground. Our old weapons down. Yeah, yeah. Obsessions with self-preservation faded when I threw my fear away. It's not a thing you can imagine. You either lose your fear or stand your life with one foot in the grave. Is God the last romance?
Thank you so much, Tama. Little bit of technical difficulties there. Hopefully, you could read her lips on some of those lyrics. And if you miss them, do go to YouTube and look up "Spark" by Over the Rhine, and because the lyrics are magnificent and they so fit what we were talking here today. Thank you so much, Tama. What we could hear was just beautiful. So, my friends, Beltane is fast approaching, the time when we honor the earth's fertility and the flowering of Mother Nature. As the season matures from late spring to early summer, may our rage at injustice be the spiritual force behind peace that blooms like all the beautiful flowers in season. May Kalima help us find our fierceness, and may we channel it safely to help reorder the world. May our reordering happen in the sweet labor of ongoing love, love that is so strong and so revolutionary that it soothes and heals, such that we lay our cold weapons down. Blessed be. Okay, my friends, this is where we open up the floor for community prayers. And so if you have a prayer that you would like to offer up, then you can, if you're on the Zoom meeting, you can use the feature to raise your hand and Mari will call on you. If you would like to keep a little bit more privacy, then feel free to put your prayer in the chat and we can read it and find it there. And I want to start because I've had one request and one prayer that I would like to offer. The first is a request from our congregant Linnea Hess, who was unable to make it here today, but her husband is going in for surgery this coming Friday. And she asked for a prayer that his surgical procedure go well and safely, and that he has strong healing and recovery afterwards. Blessed be. And the prayer that I would like to offer is our congregant and beautiful benefactress, Karen Harper, had back surgery earlier this week, and she is now home. So blessed be for that. And so I'd like to offer up a prayer for her continued quick and complete, easy recovery. Blessed be. Anyone else have prayers they'd like to offer today?
Tema.
Prayer for peace. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Anyone else?
I don't see any other hands.
All right. Well, may all of our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be. If we were gathering in person, this would be where we would pass the love offering baskets, but since we cannot pass the love offering baskets, we'll still take a moment now to tell you two things. One is that Gaia's Temple tithes 10% of whatever comes into our love offering baskets on the day of the service. If we receive your donation today, then 10% of what you donate will be tithed to another organization. And we're going to tithe to the same organization we did last month because they are still in dire need. This is called Nova Ukraine, which was established in 2014. It is one of the few U.S. nonprofits operating in multiple regions of the Ukraine, and the donations are being used to deliver emergency aid to people remaining in Ukraine as well as to refugees. And these deliveries include food, medical supplies, essential hygiene items, baby care items, clothing. And they also provide with limited assistance with locating and reconnecting family members who have been separated from their loved ones. So it's a beautiful organization doing really wonderful work. On the local front, the volunteers here are standing by to help refugees that are arriving in the U.S. So know that 10% of whatever you donate today will go to Nova, Ukraine. And thank you in advance for all of your donations that keep Gaia's Temple going. And we always sing when we pass those love offering baskets. So we're going to put the slide up with the lyrics to Thank You, Mother Earth, and we'll sing it 3 times through. Here we go. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. So continuing with those thank yous, I would like to thank, as always, my board of directors for Gaia's Temple: Karina Frenzel, Noemi Chaparro, Tema Gotchberg, Maggie Yao Wilson, and Pamela Gerke. I could not do it without you. And today we thank our ritualist, Patrick Corrigan, who's going to help us sing and release the elements in a moment. And also to Oriel Lighton for her beautiful music, both the So Love chant and her powerful video, to Tema Gotchberg for singing, and also to our tech goddess, Mari Budlong. Thank you all so very much for your contributions to Gaia's Temple today and always. So before we sing out those elements and close the service, I have the closing thought today, which is by American historian and playwright Howard Zinn, who says, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It's based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act in however a small way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presence. And to think now, as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is in itself a marvelous victory. Blessed be." All right, Patrick, take it away.
All right. So, starting with the spirits of Earth in the north. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. And the spirits of water in the west. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. Spirits of fire in the south. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. And the spirits of the air in the east. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. And the spirits of the center. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still.
All right, Mari is going to put up the slide for our final song. We'll sing that, and then we will hopefully you will stay and join us for fellowship. Thank you so much, everyone. Here we go. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thank you so much.